Nuts are a very interesting part of the paleo diet because even though they were around for a very long time and they're definitely paleo, there are some really good reasons why it makes sense to stay away from them. And in fact, a lot of paleo folks do not eat nuts. And in this video, I want to walk you through those reasons so that you can uh, fully understand nuts, have an insight into them, and then be able to make a decision for yourself whether or not it makes sense for you to incorporate them in your own diet. So number one reason why nuts aren't particularly great is that paleo is essentially about eating very nutrient dense foods. So switching from the modern diet to a vegetables and meat kind of diet, you're starting to eat so much vitamins, so much minerals, and you're nourishing your body. You're giving it all it needs to thrive. And it just so happens that nuts, as tasty and amazing as they are, have a lot of fat. Some nuts have, let's say magnesium. Some nuts have a lot of selenium, but overall, they don't stack up quite well with meat and veggies. So if you're getting a lot of your daily calories from nuts, the bottom line is you're probably missing out on a lot of the nutrients that you would be getting if you were eating those calories from meat or veggies. So that's number one. Number two reason is that they, like I mentioned, all they have really is a lot of fat. And the kind of fat that they have is not actually very good. They have a lot of omega-6 fatty acid, which is essential for the body, but we have plenty of it in our diet. We do not need any more of it. And you hear from left and right nutritionists trying to convince people to eat more fish, more salmon to get omega-3, and that's because our for the general population, the balance right now is, I think, 20-1. So we are eating 20 times as much omega-6 as omega-3. And even if you're eating paleo, you're still very much off the balance, just because the nutrients in the soil and the amount of wild things we are eating isn't as significant as it should be. So number two very important reason is a lot of omega-6 in those nuts. The only exception is macadamia nuts, which I actually probably, if I'm eating nuts, that's my choice. But they're like crack, so you have to be very careful with them. So that's number two. Number three reason why you shouldn't be eating nuts is that they have something called phytic acid. So with grains, if you know anything about why the paleo community actually stays away from them, is because of the phytochemicals that they contain. So unlike animals that can defend themselves in a physical manner, plants really cannot do that, and so but they still want to survive. We are all here to continue forward, and we don't want to be eaten by another animal. So the way that plants deal with this problem is once they're in your body, they start a chemical war, and they try to get out. And so what happens with phytic acid is it binds with a lot of things in your body, like calcium and magnesium, basically your minerals, your vitamins, and then the body doesn't recognize that new substance, that new thing, and then it tries to get rid of it. And so, mission complete. The grain is, or the thing containing the phytic acid, the phytochemical, is out. So that's number three, and then the sort of number four, a little bit of a smaller reason, is the fact that and I'll combine that with number five together. So number 4 and 5 is the fact that most of the nuts that we are eating are not really nuts. They're sort of nut foods. So if you're buying nuts at Walgreens, you know they're in a little package, and then they've been sitting, and first of all they've been roasted in probably some really bad oil like peanut oil or soybean oil, which is really high in omega-6, and you don't want to be eating that. But even if it was raw nuts, they have still been sitting in that package for God knows how long, right? And the thing about any food that's exposed to air and just sitting there and let alone is that it's going to develop mold. And you may not be able to see it, but it's there. And some people are really sensitive to it. So the bottom line is if you're gonna eat nuts, eat the stuff that's actually really fresh. So you crack it open yourself, you buy it in shells, you crack it open yourself, and then you eat it right away. But what you may find is that once you're eating a raw nut, it doesn't taste that great because what you've been eating is a packaged food. It's prepared, and the roasting process makes it taste in that specific way, and it is addictive, and that's why you keep eating. And so that's all there is to nuts. Keep in mind those few things, and obviously if you want to have a few, it's not going to make a huge difference. Nothing in small quantity is going to kill you, but if you're going to incorporate them in your diet in a big, meaningful way, then you should really think hard about all of these things that I mentioned here before you do so.